Hello, and welcome back to what I believe will be the official start of Season 2 of The Joy of Planting. I've tried to make a couple of these. I've done a couple streams that were supposed to be Joy of Planting episodes and just never liked any of them. So, so they were on Twitch, and you know, I just never ported them over. So I think this will be the first actual official one. So welcome back. Um, Originally, it was kind of designed as more of a tutorial series, and I think I want to actually sit down and do some better tutorials. Like, write a script and tighten everything down and make it into a shorter video. So I don't think I don't think that'll be the Joy of Planting series. I think that's just going to be reserved for more stuff like this, where it'll just be like an hour or two session of me working on something new, different, focusing on some kind of idea, whatever. But these will be just kind of more laid back, quiet design streams, and then maybe I'll like for the kind of boiled down educational content, I'll make some specific tutorials for that. I know the first one I want to do is bunkers, since I figure uh, that's the one I can kind of speak to the most. But in the meantime, I think we'll definitely get some bunker content in this stream. But this is just going to be me playing around with a course that was originally going to be my dream team entry, but I decided against it. I just wasn't really feeling it uh, as I was designing it. So I set it aside for a couple months. Found an idea I liked more, blew through that course, and that will actually be coming out later today. I'll probably do a little piece on that. But since that's just been sitting around waiting for publish, I've had time to putz around on other projects. I just kind of started fiddling with this one. So I changed the theme from Boreal to Swiss. And then when it kind of clicked that this had a little bit of like a Whistler resort course vibe, then all of a sudden all the whole ideas just came a lot easier. So I'm almost done with the front nine on this one. And I was just starting to work on number 5, this little par 5 out here by the lake, and realized that, hey, maybe I should start recording some of this, because there's a lot of it's not complicated, but there's a lot of good things going on here. So I'll finish this one up, and then I'll like hop into um, there's plenty of holes that I just have a very rough idea of routing that I don't have anything down for, so we can go through and do like the entire uh, process of coming up with the whole idea and getting the basics down from start to finish. Easy enough. But anyway, so with this one, I figured I still might play with some of the distances a little bit, but essentially, well, actually, these bunkers aren't even really reachable, so I'll probably want to bump the tees up even more. We can make this kind of a short par 5. But anyway, so that you can either lay up here and have like a really long shot in, but might be able to reach, or you hit it further and push it out to the lake. I think you'll still have probably it brings the bunkers into play. I might adjust this a little so it potentially brings a little bit more of the lake into play, but that should give you a little bit shorter shot and a better angle. But in theory, it's a slightly more difficult shot. But um, to a certain extent, I'm not worried if the holes on this course aren't like incredibly strategic, and some of them play just a little easy, because I kind of want it has a little bit of a resort course vibe to it, so I'm not worried about this one beating you up too much. I think I want the course to kind of play how it's going to be designed, where it's just laid back, not that worried, just kind of go with the flow, and make something that looks nice and easy. So anyway, with these, I use the measure tool to kind of draw out where I think I want the bunkers to go. I like to do that just to get a feel of how I want the bunkers to fit into the land, and how I think, I can get a preview of what they'll look like when you're looking at it from ground level. Where you'd be hitting your shots from. Make sure they fit the land, they frame things nicely. They're in a good strategic spot, that sort of thing. So then once I have the general ideas down, I usually do all the sculpting first. Uh, just because once you get the actual bunker surfaces down, the sculpting tends to get a little finicky. So if you can get most of the sculpting done and then lay the bunker surfaces down, there's a lot less work for you to do, and it usually flows a little bit better. So in this case, now that I have an idea of where I want them to go, we can just go play around and sink the bunker down a little bit where we want it. You know, make sure it still fits. It's not screwing with the land around it too much. There's like a high side and a low side, so it doesn't get too bathtubby, things like that. Oh yes, I forgot about the course name. Oh well. I get, it was kind of a joke. I still don't have a name for this course, and I absolutely didn't earlier. So, just as a fun working name, I just figured we'd poke some fun at the Dream Team contest stuff. Now, for this kind of bunker, I want to go a little bit more rugged. So my favorite way of doing rugged bunkers is to take this little snowman-shaped bunker and just kind of spin it around and spam click it around the edges where I want the bunkers to go. So in this case, like for these bunkers, I have a general idea of shape. So I'm essentially, tracing um, inside the bunker edges, but doing so in a way where the edges just aren't perfectly neat. Oh, absolutely. I'm not apologizing for throwing some shade at red team, but it's that whole, oh yeah, maybe that's a little PG for a G-rated YouTube stream. Although I'm sure I'll probably accidentally drop some adult language in these videos from time to time. So I guess PG-13 is kind of the um, what do you want to call it? Uh, Kind of anticipated aim for these. Alright, and then I'll just fill this one in as well. So you can do this kind of waste bunker, or I use this technique for waste bunkers as well. Although with those, you can change the brush size, and you don't have to be as meticulous with like, yeah, if I was gonna do a waste bunker, I'd just click a lot more randomly, like that, and just fill in bunkers like that. But with these, I want a little bit of a rugged look, but still be like kind of traditional manicured, you know, bunkers that are a little more planned out versus a lot more random. I want to drop this just a little. There we go. So now that I have like most of the bunker in, this is where I can go in and essentially do little tweaks to see, if it fits right. Like I can kind of remove things that look odd to my eye. So like this part here, um, I love the way that the right side interacts with things, but the left side looks odd to me. So we can kind of fiddle with that um, until it looks right. Like that's not bad. I might pull this out just a little. Like that, solid. Alright, I like that one. I might pull this side in just a little. So I'll go delete those. Something like that. Alright. I like that, I think. Hey, Trash Man. Hi, Lucas. Yeah, I'll be uploading this to YouTube, so you might want to keep the chat a little more PG-13 rated. Oh, I suppose it's the morning salesman, Enchantress. Let's see, you're trying bunkers like these on your new project, but you struggle with coming up with different shapes for these style. End up with nothing but Dario U's and W's. I mean, to be fair, a lot of my bunkers are similar to that. Like, all of these bunkers are essentially just Dario U's and W's with, like, you can start with that general shape, but just throw more randomness into it. So again, these are similar shapes, but with just enough extra little, you know, stuff going on with it that it doesn't exactly look like that same type of bunker. There's just a little bit more random. Like I'd essentially put my little I use this U-shaped bunker a ton. Like I might put one there. Not sure. Probably. Here, we'll do a quick save. We'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I'll just reload. Um, there we go. I'll sink this down just a little. That's a bit much. We want to raise it a little, but not that much, and we want the front to be pretty uniform. So something like that. And then maybe raise the back just a little bit so you can see it from your landing area. Something like that. See, like that one. It's the same kind of shape I always use, but there's enough little minute details and oddities to the shape that it doesn't feel like the same uniform shape that I always use. There we go. That's a good start to this one. Let's do some play testing. Let's go throw it right in the water off the start. That's always good. All right. We'll just rewind that because we don't want to test the bad shots necessarily. We want to make sure that it plays as intended if you hit it well. So let's hit it well. There you go. That's probably about the spot we want. Yeah, and then we have about 230 uphill. You can't, like this one, this blocks your view of the green just a little bit. So I could probably lower those bunkers a touch. But you can at least see the pin. Like these aren't full on, yeah, let's see. They're not full on blocking your view. But I could probably raise the landing area just a touch. Actually, I do want to move the pin or the tee up a little, I think. Just because you basically have to use the longest driver and you have to crush it in order for those bunkers to even be in play. Hey Vike, how's it going? let's see here. Yeah, so I can't reach that one, but I can roll it in. Or hell, I'm not even sure I can roll it in. Oh well. I can always I can always tweak that as we go. And then I think, yeah, the next couple holes have stuff down on it. So, not finalized, but like quick, easy ideas that I can polish up later. So for this one, obviously I think I'll move the trees on the... Well, actually the trees on the right aren't that bad. They're not really in the way. Um, so this is kind of a short par 4 where um, driver's an option, but maybe isn't the best option. Totally addicted to city skylines. Yeah, absolutely. That's a if you like just a chilled, laid back game, where you just like it's kind of a big puzzle builder type thing, where you're just constantly tweaking stuff and go, oh, I want to make this section prettier, and oh, the traffic here sucks. How do I rework the traffic so that it makes sense? And then before you know it, it's, oh, well, there went 5 hours. What did I do with my day? This one's really straightforward. It's just a kind of long uphill par 4. Wow, I cannot swing for some reason. But I might, yeah, if I might end up actually playing that a little bit later today. But I wanted to do, yeah, it's one of those where there's other elements to it, but it's really easy to stay on top of like resources are mainly just plopping stuff down and just they have and making sure that they all cover correct areas. It's the problems that keep popping up are 90% traffic. But honestly, for whatever reason, it's the parts of the game that appeal to me are um just making like a big it's a big sandbox where you can make something that looks pretty, and that's fun. But then also like just fine tuning it and just visualizing how everything flows and planning it out and make sure it works correctly is kind of fun in its own way. But you kind of have to go in knowing that it's like, okay, it's either a sandbox where there's not a lot of management and you're just making it pretty because you want to, or you're getting into it knowing that 90% of it is, roadways and public transport and basically just optimizing the flow of stuff to make it work. All right, I have something down for 9, but that's going to need a lot of work, and I'm not 100% how I want to do 9. So I might just do 10. I'll clear out these bushes that are here, because obviously those were placed a while ago before I moved this tee. We'll flatten the tee box just because maybe we'll raise it a touch. Obviously, I can go finalize that later, but just get a good idea of where we're looking. All right, so from here, what's the whole length? Okay, so this is another long par 4. All right, actually, I could probably shorten this one up just a little, because we go. Actually, no, eight's a par 3. I'm just thinking, so we go long par 4, long par 3, go kind of mid-length par 4, maybe a touch short. That's fine. Can shorten that up just a touch, and then into another like very long par 4. All right, so let's see. Now, where would our drives typically land? Okay, so this is an option. Like 3 wood is a playable shot here. You'd have about 200 and change in. All right. So that is an option. We can challenge the driver a little bit if 3 wood is an option. And then all right, and then 290-ish, and it's flat. Okay, so we have that. And what's our shot in from there? 175. Okay, so it's not that difficult of a hole. Now, my big question is, how do I want to lay this out? So those are our kind of two main tee shot options. Also, this to me feels like a great spot for a punch bowl green. So you have it all raised to the left. There's already this little ridge, or like long and left is all raised, and it's already raised in front a little bit. Like I just see, I wouldn't have to do a lot of land movement to get a fun little green like right in here. And for a long par 4, that's a great spot for a punch bowl in my opinion. Thanks, Maddie. Much appreciate it. Yeah, I figured I didn't want to um, I mean, obviously I have no objections to anyone in the chat making Jerry Shields jokes if they feel so inclined, but yeah, I probably don't want to like go personally bash Jerry too much on uh, what do you want to call it, on videos that I'm uploading to YouTube later. That being said, it's the like if you're trying to learn how to design stuff in this game, I really just I can't recommend his stuff. He's not really good at it. Way more ego than actual talent. But again, it's the I should say, like, again, if you find his videos entertaining and you like watching them, more power to you. I just if you're going in there uh, thinking that you'll learn how to design or you'll learn about both design in this game and design in real life, he's probably not the best resource for that. It's essentially it's just the hey, take some of his advice with a grain of salt, some of it with a massive grain of salt. But again, we're not here to bash Jerry. It's just the yeah, if it's gonna come up, I'll you know, I don't want to don't want to ignore people's conversations, but and I definitely have my own strong opinions on both his work and his value as a guide. But again, we're not here to bash him, even if I really don't see I don't think the quality of his work speaks towards being an expert like he claims. I think that's it's an ego thing. It's not backed up by his work. You think the stream name needs to be updated to how to create? Yes. Well, I mean that's just implied. Everything we make on this stream is going to be a dumpster fire. There we go. It's obviously we can. It seems anytime I design a punch bowl, I always end up with almost like two little separate half bowls, and I can probably do that with this one if I wanted. Oh, I should check the. Let's check the dimensions of this green. Just eyeballing it, it looks like it's probably good. I'm gonna guess 30 by 40. Um, okay, 30 by wow. Okay, 28 by 42. That's pretty darn close. And that's a fair green size. It's a slightly bigger green, but for a longer hole and with like a lot of punch bully stuff that limits the actual uh, playing area. Uh, that's a fair green size. Yeah, for newer designers, that's a thing that I notice a lot of people really struggle with when they start is essentially just the scaling of stuff. they tend to eyeball it, and they don't, unless you've done it for a while and you have a really good sense um, for scale in game, it's really easy to eyeball something and think it looks right, and only for it to be way bigger than it should be or way smaller than it should be. So when you're getting started, by all means, you can eyeball stuff if you want, but just double check it with especially you have the measuring tool. It's easy enough to use. Just it's easy enough to just double check it with a measuring tool to make sure that the dimensions of stuff that you're making make sense. All right, so I have the green site. It's a little close to this par three, but I like the spot, and it's not. I don't know. Maybe I squeak a couple. Well, obviously I'm gonna move um, those tee boxes are a remnant from something else. I can move these tees just a little bit if I want, just to separate these holes a little. I can probably sprinkle a couple trees in there just to, for player safety, whatever, just to visually separate the holes a little bit. Not that player safety is really that much of an issue on a digital golf course where you're playing by yourself, but just it feels a little more realistic if it's you know, if you take at least like a uh, token effort toward stuff that you'd have to worry about on a real course. Yeah, this is my last day of my little 5-day break as well, so I'm a little bummed out, but it's been a fun break, and you know, we'll just be back to work tomorrow. No worries. So I can even, yeah, or we'd be encroaching the layup a little bit with trees, but not that bad. No, have a good one, Maddie. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so where was I? There we go. But yeah, so it's like things like you don't have to focus on realistic details if you don't want to. There's plenty of room in this game for like really well done fantasy courses. You don't have to worry about those things if that's not something you're interested in and you want to go for a fantasy vibe. But if you like making realistic courses, um, you know, uh, then it it doesn't hurt to. We'll clear that out. I'm not sure where I want to put a bunker here. Doesn't hurt to just take that into account. Exact. Well, I mean, you're here for background audio. Yeah, no worries. I figure from what people tell me, I think that's kind of I think that's what a lot of people like about these streams is that they're. Well, I mean, I obviously have the Bob Ross pun as my as the show name, so obviously there's a little inspiration from that. But I wasn't like completely trying to copy his style. But if people find the videos calming and relaxing to throw in the background, then that's absolutely fine by me. Cause I'm just here having some fun, and you know, if I can pass along a little thoughts, knowledge, whatever about course design in this game or just in general, then it's absolutely fine by me. You played 2K21 a lot. I think they did good on it. Yeah. Um, game's definitely solid. What was I gonna say? I just there's a couple bugs that I wish they would fix, but for the most part, I have no real complaints with the game. And obviously I've spent tons of time in the designer, so you know obviously they made a tool I really love playing around with. I think maybe I could pinch it to the right just a little. How wide is this? Maybe 25, 30? 30. Okay. Yeah, that's not bad for like a narrow point on a long hole. So let's see. I want to make sure if I'm gonna throw a bunker in driver range, you want to make sure it's in play. So yeah, 290 to that. So that's about right. Then I'll swing it around maybe, just to fill up the space. So there we go. Actually, you know what? Just like both visually and strategically, I might throw a bunker in the dog leg as well. And then, do I want any bunkers in my punch bowl or short of my punch bowl? I could. I might hold off on it though. I think well, I don't know, because otherwise, like, if it's a punch bowl and you're raising the land up in front of it, it doesn't really need a bunker. But with this style of course, or I'm just like the theme that I'm building in, all the grass is always very lush, and so there'd be nothing there visually. Um, hey Ben, how's it going? Oh, I already gave my little 30-second spiel on Jerry Shields and his uh uh what's the term? I don't want to say BS, but freezing cold takes on course architecture and or uh like video game course design. Because I barely think that like I'm not sure he has a very good has a lot of great thoughts on actual real life course design based on things he said, let alone how that applies to actually making stuff in this game. But whatever. Yeah, I get it. I get it. We're just gonna have nonstop Jerry jokes in the chat, and that's just kind of how it's gonna be. So yeah, whatever. I can't fault you guys. I get it. It's kind of the in thing to poke fun. I don't want to devote YouTube videos to to my thoughts on it. But I guess if it's just gonna be a thing in chat for a while of referential jokes at things Jerry has said or done, then I guess I have to acknowledge it. Where's the Manic Fritchie Dream course? Uh Oh, that one's I mean, obviously I'm going to publish that today. I still have the file. It's just there's not really any work to do on it. So why would I do like a 2-hour design stream on it? I'm sorry, Jives. If this was a regular stream, I'm absolutely like I'm totally fine diving in and just throwing some shade. But since this is going on YouTube and it's a little less me just hanging out with chat and just goofing around, and more just oh, obviously I can still do those things, but it's just I want to the tone will be a little different, the aim's a little different. We're looking to well, it's not like full on tutorial video. I'm hoping to get a little bit more content out of it, just you know little more what do you want to call it, educational value rather than just a complete entertainment product. So just but trust me, I'm down to do uh dumpster fiery things on regular streams by all means. Just this probably isn't the same thing as a regular stream. But of course, I have no idea if anyone actually half the views on this are just going to be the same usual suspects that always hang out here anyway. We'll see. But again, I'm not totally sure what this is going to be yet, so we'll try to keep it a little. We want to keep it a little more friendly than a normal stream. Oh, you're good, man. Again, it's the I think I had said something on it at the very start of the stream before everyone showed up of just I think like the original Joy of Planting series was essentially just a long form tutorial series without any kind of planning or script or anything like that. So, you know, that was just my attempt at doing something vaguely educational. And I still think I want to sit down and do like a real tutorial series that's a lot tighter and edited and that sort of thing. So I don't really need these streams to go that in depth into like technical stuff. They're more just the oh hey I'll just it's I don't know, maybe more kind of like in the same vein as Andre's design streams where it's him working on stuff and conversing with people and like somewhere in the middle between like an actual tutorial and my usual just goofing around design streams where I play music and occasionally rant about silly things or just putz around on tiny details. I think I shot -2 on Yara as well. I don't remember what the wins were, but I think I played pin 4. I gave away a couple silly shots, but I also putted really well, so at least for me, which helped my score. I made a couple bombs. Still unsure about that bunker, but I guess I always have like we're early in the process here where I'm just trying to work out just trying to figure out ideas. Um so I'm not spending a ton of time on any of the details yet cuz I plan on taking a second pass later. Yeah, I don't know what happened with cuz my download was just fine. I think there is some kind of internet outage of some sort where all of a sudden a couple minutes into stream, it just my internet completely died and I had zero upload. So it was dropping 98% of frames. I reset my router. I did everything on my end that I could do and it wasn't having it, so I gave up for the evening. But today it seems to have no issues whatsoever. But I loved both of those courses though. They were awesome. But yeah, anyway, so like I'm completely okay with things being slightly derailed on some of these streams because you know I'm not 100% on what I want these to be yet, but they're not full on tutorials or anything. They're maybe just a slightly more focused version of a regular stream. So so people making jokes and poking fun at silly things is totally okay. But I also don't want this to turn into like um a Jerry rant session. Like I get it, it's funny, whatever, no worries. But that's not why I'm doing this video. Absolutely, go for it. I say is like the lidar data not very good, or is it just like crazy hard to work on? All right, I like the way that bunker looks. It's it's in a good strategic spot. Although it's probably more framing bunker than really. Yeah, best of luck. Hope it goes well. At the very least, it should be fun. It's a tough course, but it's so pretty. I loved like pretty much every view, every hole. They all played interesting. It's just absolutely spectacular course. All right, I'm gonna kind of curl it around this way. I think it feels like a logical spot for a bunker. Yeah, that is tough. I gotcha. All right, that'll work. It kind of matches a little too closely to that one. We want it to. We want a little bit of a different shape to it, just so it doesn't look exactly like a clone of that bunker by the green. So maybe we'll play around with. Nope, that's just as bad. All right, what do I want to do with this one? You're also not sold on like the lidar data for Bandon, you mean, or just in general? You know, I'm just gonna break this up into two bunkers. I think that's the only way I'm gonna think of how I make it not look like the green side bunker, because it's with the land and everything. That's just a shape that fits there, and it's hard to not make a bunker with that shape without it just looking completely ridiculous. So yeah, we'll split it up into two, and actually that layering works visually as well. Yep, that works for me. We'll lower this just a little bit so you can see them. So yeah, just a note for new designers. Like, um, you don't have to put the same level of effort into like presenting your bunkers as I would on a course, but it's definitely something you should at least think about. Like, uh, framing your bunkers and you're doing a lot of the same work on them as you would to make them to play well. So you might as well have them look well or look nice as well. Essentially, it's most of the stuff you would do to present your bunkers nicely is just making sure that the fronts are low and the backs are raised so that you can see them, which is something that you'd probably want to do on a real golf course. If you have a hazard that players are hitting at and it's completely hidden from view, it's probably not a very good hazard. And two, it's just the like they're a great framing device, and if they're visible, you know they're usually going to look nicer. Plus, in terms of playability, you generally want the ball to roll into your bunker easily, but you want it to be a challenge to get out of the bunker, which means low front and raised back. So all of these things work together to both make it an obvious hazard, an effective hazard, and an attractive framing device. So it's just hey, maybe the vast majority of your bunkers should be raised in the back. And if you if you look at good real life courses, most of them do something similar. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat for a sec. Oh, hey Adam, how's it going? Let's see. But most people who hop into doing real life courses like on a whim aren't spending the time to check for accuracy anyways. They just throw something down that vaguely feels like the real course to them, but doesn't really hold up to, any kind of scrutiny. Alright, well I definitely like the way that looks off the tee, and those bunkers are in an appropriate place for playability. Like if you bail out left, you're with driver, you're probably going to end up in those bunkers unless you're like into a headwind and playing one of the short drivers. All right, so that's an effective hazard. But now what do I want to do to the right here? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like Kent's issues on his course aren't necessarily accuracy. It's just the generally not putting any time into the polish that bumps it from uh again, it's that whole thing of yeah, all the land is accurate and all the stuff's in the right place, but if it doesn't feel like the real course, then it probably isn't a great lidar. The one that absolutely screamed out to me is when I think he did a Riviera or something along those lines, and didn't, and left like the default brown boreal bunkers in it. It's just like if you can't get like one of the most iconic features of the course right, and it takes 8 seconds to change it. Like if you can't put the time and effort just to get like the little things right when it takes no effort to do it, it just like what are you doing? Like at that point, just don't bother. Sorry, that's And I have nothing against Kent or his work. Just definitely raises some questions sometimes. Just for newer designers, if you want to go do RCRs, expect to take some time on it and take some pride in your work. If you're making a world class, like if you're gonna sit down and go, oh, I'm gonna make a world class famous course that everyone will recognize and everyone knows. Like, take the time to do it right. Don't just throw crap together and kick it out the door. If it's your local muni and it's 6,500 yards and nobody's ever heard of it or played it, you can get away with cutting some corners and just doing a quick job. But if you're doing like LACC or again whatever, like name any Donald Ross course, whatever, if it's something that people know by name and would recognize, again, take the time to do it right. Yeah, exactly, McTrees. It's just they're most of them are just like are just endlessly disappointing to play because again, they don't need to be perfect, but it's just like you open them and it's very obvious how little effort went into most of you know, the detail work. Jives, are you talking about lidar courses or Torrey Pines? Because both of those are that's an accurate statement for both of those. Why not both? Yes. I am completely on board with the all rants about Tory and how much it sucks. I'm completely on board with that take. Torrey Pines is garbage and it should be treated as such. Like I'm full on just I'm down for just what's it? Is it hosting PGA or US Open this year? I cannot remember which. But regardless, whichever one it is, I'm just straight up boycotting it cuz I refuse to watch Tory. It just it makes me angry. That course just should not exist. Well, this stream is turning out rantier than I originally intended, but whatever. I think that's gonna be the thing about these streams. I don't need to. We'll just change the format up a little bit. They're gonna just be more stream of consciousness, more just kind of normal design streams because it's hard to outside of like a couple like quick tutorials that I can do on technical stuff. There's not a lot of educational stuff I can add that other people haven't covered, equally as well as I could do or better than I could do. Like, all of my thoughts on like, routing, strategy, all that sort of stuff can mostly just be covered by Ben's videos, and he's better at a little bit of that stuff than I am. Like I can cover some of the technical stuff, like technical basics, uh, you know, and I can give my kind of own personal like what do you want to call it? Like I can kind of teach people my personal bunker style, but it's not the way that there's plenty of different ways to build bunkers, and this is just a way to build bunkers. I can show you here's some things that you could do to build decent bunkers. You don't, but you can build good bunkers without doing these. Exactly. Like again, Andre is great at explaining all of like the absolute basics in a way that somebody with no experience can come in and understand. I mean, but it makes sense. He's a teacher, and that's kind of like that's part of his job. Coming from an engineering background, it's the I'm terrible at that. I just talk a mile a minute and just kind of generally assume that people know what I'm talking about. Let's see. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Yeah, the tough part about course design McTrees is if it starts taking a while, um, like if you go over the same areas a couple times, there's definitely like like a sort of visual fatigue that sets in, where you just get tired of looking at it, and even if it's good, if you look at it long enough, you just will slowly grow to hate it. But all right, I like the way this one looks off the tee. It's again, it's not a not world class strategy, but for kind of a resort course, it's like yeah, there's enough strategy for it to be interesting, but still keeping it a little straightforward and a little easy. It's fine by me. Like I think the target difficulty for this is probably like almost on the easy side of CC, whereas I think Camino del Mar, the course I'll be releasing today, is still CC difficulty probably, but aiming for like maybe the tougher side of CC. Of course, I say that, so it'll probably play on the easy side of CC. Eating disorder syndrome. I don't. I'm not following it, but I mean, I'm glad somebody has come up with a name for it. But I'm assuming that's a joke. But I'm not following the punchline. I'm not. It's not clicking. But yeah, I have definitely hit that point on my dream team course where I keep wanting to blow it up, even though I objectively know that's like I really liked this when I made it, and it's probably one of my best courses, you know, in terms of interest, technical work, all that stuff. Like, but I just because it's been done essentially for 2 months and I've just been putzing around on it slowly. Um, I'm just hitting that point where I just hate looking at it, and I'm just ready to, you know, the that uh, you start to want to just blow it up because you've looked at it so long that you start to hate it. Oh, I absolutely won't. Yeah, that too jives. I think pretty much every good designer I know, hates all of their work at some point during the process. I can probably name uh like or list on one hand the number of courses I've made that I did not like hate for most of the process. Like I enjoyed working on them, but I would just look at it and go, it's not there. This isn't it isn't working for me. But but there's a little bit of that um how it's sausage making type stuff where you see all the back the ugly stuff in the background that nobody else has to look at. Rather, it's the when you look at somebody else's course, you just see the finished product. So let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to chat and keep up with all the people in chat at the same time. So I'll be a little scatterbrained. Sorry. Um, but yeah, so when you're making a course, you will always judge it against what you visualized that it should look like in your head. So even if it comes out good, if it's not what you envisioned, you're always it's always gonna have that stain of, oh, but it's not what I wanted to do. Whereas with anyone else's course, you don't get to see like you have no idea what they intended it to look like when they started out. You just get to see what it looks like. So if it looks decent, even if it's nowhere close to what they were trying to do, you go, "Oh, that looks nice. I like that thing." Whereas, your course will always be, "Oh, like but it doesn't look like what I wanted it to look like." Yeah, what Adam said. We're all I mean, like at this point, like I know I'm probably one of the better designers in this game, but I would hardly call myself like particularly talented at this. It's more just the uh, I don't know. Maybe I have a little eye for visual flair, which helps just from kind of like an art background. But um, all the like, there's so many other designers that are more talented than I am that I think are better at this. I'm just decent at it. Why would that be Jerry talking? That would require him to acknowledge that there are people that are better than he is. Also, that would require him to have any sort of self-awareness and be able to critically examine his own work, which obviously, based on the end product, he's never really successfully accomplished. Yes, RMD is a great example of somebody uh, whose ego completely um, limits their ability to improve. Oh, okay, gotcha. Actually, yeah, and that's another thing that I think I found is that um, the biggest indicator for me of whether a new designer is gonna um, yeah, because everybody kind of starts in the same place, uh, uh, regardless of background. It's you can understand a lot about uh, like course architecture and stuff in theory, but there's so much to learn in terms of tools and implementing it in game and that sort of stuff that everybody's first course is gonna suck. It's just kind of how it is. But the biggest factor for me of whether somebody is going to be you know bloom into a great designer or just kind of keep making the same middling stuff is um, their ability to critically examine their own work. Because like everybody is going to start off with some iffy stuff, um, and but if you can put your ego aside and actually like sit down and go like, okay, what did I do right, what did I do wrong, where can I improve, etc., etc., you're miles ahead of people who can't do that. Like nobody ever stops learning, nobody ever stops improving. um like I'm still picking up stuff all the time, and I've done like 30 of these at this point, 30, 40 courses. Will there be more beginner designer course contests? Really like how much help you give with them. So the beginner contest, or the rookie contest is once a year. Um, but since Patrick's been kind of tightening the entry requirements for that, I'll be running the CC contest this year. And while it's not like a full rookie contest, I definitely want to have like I think I want to have in maybe like I'm not sure exactly yet all the details of how I'll implement this, but I want to incorporate a rookie friendly kind of aspect to that contest. So maybe something along the lines of like I think I want to do an am kind of call it um, the like a essentially like an amateur exemption type thing where like you might not be eligible for um, like an overall win if you choose this exemption, um, but essentially like do like a little mini low, yeah, again like we'll do like a mini low am contest where all the rookies who hop in, I'll loosen the restrictions on like essentially like we'll keep it open for betas, for public feedback, that sort of thing, for rookies, just to because it's the whole thing of if you want to hop into the rookie contest, you essentially have to at this point you have to wait to the right time of year to really start designing because if you start in the spring, by the time you hit the rookie contest sign up, you've probably had a course or two made, that sort of thing. God, I gotta catch up on so much chat. Sorry, but yeah, I'm not sure what the details are for that yet. But um, even though there's only one rookie contest a year, I definitely want to start incorporating rookie-friendly features into some of the other contests, so that regardless of what time of year you hop in, there's a rookie-friendly contest that you can participate in because those are a lot of fun. And in terms of like good, useful, critical feedback from like talented either designers or schedulers or like people who are very familiar with courses and have a lot of knowledge to impart. You know, that's that was huge when I was learning how to do this, and I want to be able to you know to give newer rookies that same experience. All right, sorry. I'm gonna go back for a sec and zip through all the chat that I've been missing. There we go. More Jerry jokes. Uh, McTree's talking about how he hates his course. I completely get that. Um, the difference is RMD doesn't snap back like an ass about it. Yeah, what Adam said. That's although we gave RMD crap because it was, yeah, he just brushed off all the he brushed off all any kind of like criticism or warranted or otherwise, and it was pretty much all warranted. So he was never going to learn anything, and he was never going to improve. The only reason that anyone paid attention to him was because he was also a complete ass to other people who were trying to learn. Like, oh, I'm an expert and I know what I'm doing, despite making hot garbage. Um, so that's why we gave him a bunch of crap. He seems to have lightened up and stopped railing on people who design courses in ways that he doesn't like. So I'll stop giving him crap. Let's see. Yeah, then there's the content on, or the question about beginner course contests. I kind of covered that one. Petro making more Jerry jokes. Design League. Oh yeah, that one's decent too as far as like AM stuff go, or like as rookies go. More like the joy of pantsing. uh, oh god, more Jerry jokes. Wow, there are so many Jerry jokes in here. It's just the Jerry variety hour. Um, Garden City. Yeah, that's one I need to look into at some point. Um, as soon as you heard about Emmett Whack. Okay. Um, until you've had a course host a kinetic or higher event, can you be in the amateur division? Um, well, again, because it's that whole thing of there are plenty of great designers who have only ever designed CC courses. That's going to be a no. Um, because what series hosts your course depends on the difficulty of your course more so than the quality of it. So, uh, um, like again, I'm probably that the poster child of basically I'm everything I design ends up on being CC difficulty regardless of whether or not I intended it to. I struggle not to make courses that are kind of a little straightforward and a little simple. So to the point of Dan basically just anytime I schedule a course, regardless of whether practically doesn't even play it and just goes, "Oh, Matt made a course. It's going to be fine for CC. Let's put it on CC." So, so yeah. And there are people who like I'm blanking on the name. Give me a sec. Uh, Seth Campion. He's he doesn't design as much anymore, but very great designer. Always made very easy courses. So I think pretty much everything he made was on CCM. But I would, he definitely wouldn't qualify as a rookie in any design contest. So whereas I'm sure there's somebody who's designed a course that's like PGA appropriate, but would still fall under uh, that rookie designation. Like I don't know exactly what the cutoff would be, but I'd assume um, let's see. Dylan has the exact opposite problem. Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's the kind of designer. Every time he tries to make a course easier, it still ends up being PGA level. So it's there are definitely designers who just have kind of a niche of difficulty that just makes sense for them, and they struggle to break out of. So I mean, I've definitely made some courses harder than others, but by default, CC just kind of seems to be the thing that I design. Even though I've had multiple courses on every tour at this point, I think. I'd have to go check. I haven't really paid that much attention to who's hosting or what courses are hosting what events on tours that I don't play. tiered tiered greens go brr. True, but Dario does that intentionally because he loves difficult courses. So that's a little different in my opinion. Whereas like Dylan and I occasionally attempt to do something outside of their um, uh, normal repertoire and just fail at it. Whereas Dario just doesn't care and purposely makes like dick punchy holes. Yeah, Mike, but like, I wouldn't say you're a rookie. You're a new designer, but you're not a rookie at this point. Like you know what you're doing. So I wouldn't like I don't think you'd qualify for any kind of rookie slots because you're an established talented designer at this point. You're not still figuring things out. Like at least on a basic level. We're all still figuring things out, you know. Like we're all learning something, but you don't need somebody to walk you through the basics anymore. You have those down. And I'm pretty sure Dario actually did make a pretty solid CC course when he set his mind to it. So he can definitely design um he can design easier courses when he wants to. He just usually likes to be evil, which is totally he's like TGC's God, why am I blanking on the name again? Why are names always so difficult? Pete Dye. He's like TGC's Pete Dye, where if you play a Pete Dye course, you're just gonna be punched in the dick repeatedly. You play a Dario course, he's gonna beat you up. That is way too far. That's yeah, that thing I said earlier about paying attention to using the measure tools to make sure that you're not you know putting things at a scale or putting things in weird spots. That right there. Is there a more evil course than Black Salt Valley? Susquehannock. It's not in the new game yet. We still need to drag Dario kicking and screaming into porting that one. If that ends up requiring us to steal the file from him and renovate it for the new game, I will 100% do that because Susquehannock needs to be in the new game. If anything, I feel like it should be hosting. Like I know it hosted the U.S. Open 2 years ago on TGC Tours, but it's the perfect U.S. Open host, and I'm completely down for it hosting again, either this year or next year. But it needs to be hosting U.S. Opens regularly. Exactly. I mean, yeah, we can always renovate it slightly for new games as the difficulty of the game changes, but like the core of it is fantastic and should be ported over. Yeah, but it's platinum. It doesn't matter what they move to. They should be punished anyways. I still want to fix this front bunker. I just don't exactly know how, but I can always come back to that later. Um, I'm debating if I want to do. I've already done a ton of playtesting on my Dream Team course, and I'm debating if I want to sit down and do more of it just as like a last minute check. I probably shouldn't bother because at this point I'm just gonna keep playing it and keep playing it until like it's yeah, I'm gonna completely burn myself out on it and accomplish nothing. I've play tested the whole thing twice from like like different uh, what do you want to call it? Like different all the pins I've played multiple times. I've played all the tees multiple times. Uh, Different weather, all that sort of stuff. I've play tested the hell out of it. I don't hate platinum, but it's also that whole thing of they're the average platinum player is extraordinarily talented, and like you can challenge them, you can throw stuff at them, and it's fine. But also like not all of them. Not everybody on platinum tour is a jackass, but there are a lot of jackasses on platinum. So there's also that whole thing of like I'm completely okay with you know like sometimes you can just you can be a little bit mean to the platinum players in terms of scheduling. That's okay. Yes, but Jives, you're almost more the exception than the rule when it comes to platinum players. Because you're actually a talented designer and you know what goes into all of the making all of the courses that you play, so you don't whine about them endlessly because you understand how it works. It's probably very true, McTrees. Yes, Jives and others. All right, I don't know what I want to do with this hole either. I can probably just, since there's nothing over here, I can probably play around with the land a little bit. I don't need this hole to be flat. Same with like 12 and 13 is I haven't really done any sculpting to this side yet, so I can go a little crazier with the land if I want. And I might. So we need some, you know, we want to get a little bit of elevation change in this course. I don't want the whole, um, there's not like a lot of like local elevation or what's it, micro sculpting, but a lot more kind of macro land movement. That's fair, Adam, but it's that um, I don't know. It's like the platinum players almost have like that real life PGA Tour player syndrome where they expect very specific things out of their courses, and anything that doesn't that presents them with something different is lampooned. My favorite example being all of the players complaining about a single like a what do you want to call a centerline bunker at Kapalua on like a 90-yard wide fairway. It's like it's the easiest thing on earth, but it actually makes them make decisions, and they hate that. So anything that makes you think is bad, just present me with execution challenges. Yep, McTrees is right on board. Yeah, and we're overgeneralizing. Not every PGA not every platinum player is a whiny twat, but enough of them are that they've chased all of the schedulers out because anything a scheduler does, half of them will complain about. So there is some generalizing going on for a reason. We're again, it's not everybody. It's not, oh, you're in platinum, so you're an asshole. It's just, hey, platinum as a whole is kind of full of assholes. Hence, you ended up with Petty as your scheduler, who's there to troll you. So, it's kind of, look, sorry, that's just how it's gonna be. And we'll just leave it like that. It's fine. Well, the good news is I do have, well, mine's a little messy right now, but I do have 10 playable holes. Oh, 11 if you include 18. But you can play all the way through 10. So I'm running out of steam. Maybe we'll do a little, what do you want to call it? We'll do a little playthrough of what we have so far, and then maybe I'll cut the Joy of Planting episode here. I'll probably keep streaming, but I'll just do other stuff. Um, just in terms of what I would want to upload as a YouTube video, I think that we'll probably call it here. I will have to listen to that. That sounds awesome. But yeah. So anyway, here's the first hole. I kind of like the way as a I'm still torn on whether or not I want to throw in some autumn colors into this or not. So again, I'm not gonna respond to the Jerry comment right now because I've already spent way too much of the stream responding to those. I'm just gonna let that go for now. Yep, okay, McTree's pretty much nailed it. It's fine. But anyway, so all the greens on this one are not um uh they're not really finalized, but yeah, just general ideas for now. So it might be um what do you want to call it? Some of the pins might be a little dicey, but they're not finalized. So yeah. Also, yeah, I'm not 100% if I want to keep the autumn look feel to it or not. Uh, I think the course, the idea of the course is well on its way, but just in terms of like environment and theming and that sort of thing, I'm not sure what I want to do with this visually. So it's all the whole concepts are there, and it plays approximately how I think I want it to, but the actual look of it in terms of off course stuff might change dramatically as I. Oh, but they don't have the winter theme in this game anymore, unfortunately. I never did make a winter course, which I mean. NLU is no laying up, which is like a podcast slash golf media company. I guess brand. It's the I don't know. They're kind of like mainstream golf media at this point. I like the way this hole's framed, and it's got a kind of infinity green with the lake in the background thing going for it. The green's a little big, so this one might require. It's not so big that I think it's an issue, but it's big enough that I think it needs. I'm gonna have to do like it's gonna need a lot of contouring to make it really interesting. So I think that this one will require a little bit of work in terms of green. This is one of the more recent ones I did. Yeah, I did a lot of land movement on this one um, so we'll bring the lake into play, and I do like the way this one looks. I think we'll frame it with some trees on the right, but otherwise I'll probably leave it open to the left. I like how it looks. I might move the tees might need to move some, but that's a decision for another day. Green's obviously very preliminary. It's pretty much flat. I just made a big flat pad so that I could do bunkers and surrounds, and then uh, do all the internal contours later. The thing is, you can't really do snow piles because they took out that texture color. Yeah, well, I wouldn't even call it like because it's almost like there's nothing about it that reminds me of foreplay other than it's kind of like ex college bros talking about golf, but yeah, they're way more articulate and they know things about golf and their content isn't completely asinine and they're not complete assholes. Funny you mentioned that, Adam. That was um if I end up entering World Cup of Design. I'm still on the fence about whether I want to sit out and judge or hop in. But if I do enter, that's one of the ideas that's potentially kicking around my brain is um, with the Olympic contest last year. I couldn't really design a course that to me really felt like it gave that Japanese vibe to it. But with all the new objects, I think with all the new trees and cross theme stuff, I think I can get a lot closer um to doing that vibe. So it's don't want to commit to it, but it's something that I was considering. Oh, you mean with the dual greens? That could be fun. Not yeah, that would be so hard to like frame correctly though. I think that's the reason I didn't do it the first time around was because it like limits the I felt like it limited the like the pin placements I could put on each hole, and it just I'd have to frame two greens with every shot instead of one. Well, this one we just gonna have to work our way through because the green's not there. There were several of us who had uh, thought about doing double greens on each hole. I think all of us abandoned it for various reasons. Of oh wait, this would be really hard to do, and it would almost be a detriment to the course versus a um, what do you want to call it? Whoops, wrong club. Come on, game, help me out. All right, let's see here. This will be the last hole, I think. Yeah, I'm excited about this one. We can obviously the whole idea still need a little bit more polish, but I'm digging the vibe of the course so far. It's just a fun little easy, kind of like a little resort course. Fun little side project that I don't need to spend too much time on. out of fringe. Oh, that is obnoxious. I love it. Thanks, man. Again, and the thing about these bunkers is like they're not that hard to make because they're all just done, like you can kind of lay them out the same way you can regular bunkers, but just instead of either like splining them or I'll use like the circle brush to paint bunkers in normally. God, there we go, surfaces. It's just taking this little brush on the last page, shrinking it down to kind of a little medium size, and just spinning it around and spam clicking it. Simple enough. Yeah, it might take a little practice, but I wouldn't call it like a difficult technique. Anyway, since I want to cut this short for like an actual Joy of Planting episode, I think I'm going to cut the stream here. But for all you people hanging out in chat, I will be right back in like, 15 seconds. So, anyways, for folks who are watching the playback, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. For all the folks still in chat, we'll see you in a minute.